Hello everyone, this is Muted and Nuts, and today we'll be continuing our beginner-friendly Road to SCP video series. Today we'll be looking at another HackTheBox machine, that is Silo. Silo is based on Windows and the difficulty is medium, so let's just get started. So first thing what I always do is I run an AutoRecon scan on the target machine. AutoRecon, it's an enumeration tool and it's going to do few nmap scans at first, and based on the output it's going to do additional scans on them. So it's going to, 95% of the time it's going to give you the exact same or proper enumeration result, but at times you have to manually enumerate things further and extract information. So that's why you should always know how to run things manually as well. Don't always rely on a scanner. Always know to run things manually, like nmap scan, SMBs, login, and all these kind of things. Okay, so I'll be running this file as root, so that's why I'll be giving sudo over here because I'm running the box as Kali and not root. I'll be giving the Python 3 because I want to run this file as Python 3, so that's why I'll be giving Python 3 over here, autorecon.py file. I'll be giving the target IP address, that is 10.10.10.82 in the case of Silo. I'll be giving the O switch for the output directory where I want to save the scan result. So I did already execute the scan because it takes quite some time. So this is what you get, like 4 directories. So let's just go and check out the full TCP and map scan first, because this is what I always do. You have like almost most of the ports, obviously like all the ports present over there, but at times you have to run a slow scan as well. So to probably get some ports additionally. So that's why I'm saying always know how to run it manually as well. Okay, so we do have multiple ports over here, and it's like quite confusing, and you're like, oh, we have to enumerate all these ports. Maybe we can keep it simple. We can check for basic ports like port 80 and then probably go for port 445 or something like that. So that's what, because port 80 is running HTTP, we have the version number. You can check for this on searchploit or exploitdb, or like on Google if you have any exploit. I don't think there is any, so we can move on for that. We obviously have 445 open as well, that is your SMB port. You can check for anonymous access over here and see if you get some interesting information like credentials or something like that. Okay, we do have a different and unique port over here, that is 1521. Actually, the service is unique, that is Oracle TNS, and we do see the version number over here present as well. So what we'll try to do is let's just quickly look at the the ports which look important. Obviously, that does not mean you try and ignore the rest of the ports, but okay, so before that we'll just complete this thing. We have like 5985 port over here, that is running HTTP, and over here if you see, this HTTP is not it's not a web server or something. It's for that remote management. So in Windows you have remote management. If you want to log in using WinRM or something, you can do that with this particular port. And this is the same thing as well over here for 47001. Okay, so we do have another Oracle TNS over here, that is 49160 over here. So probably we can check out both, and obviously these are like MSRPCs. We can probably ignore these for now, but obviously if you do not find anything, you can try to, I think AutoRecon does an nmap scan as well to see if you get anything over there, but I don't think it's very useful. But obviously that could be like a least priority, but first priority obviously the the unique ones which you already saw, and also the common ones like 80 and 445. So what we can do is we can just mention over here port 80 and the important ones to look at, so that you don't forget that you have to look at this port. So we have another port, that is 1521. So we have 49160. Okay. So we'll just look at this version number over here, because we do have this version number, and it says over here unauthorized, and over here it says requires service name. So here also we do not get any version number, but we do get a version number where, so version numbers obviously is very useful because we can actually identify some known exploits for that particular version. So what we'll try to do is we can check out port 80 over here, and if you just look at port 80, we just get this page over here, web page, and there's an image file over here. There's no functionality present over here. You can obviously do a view page source and see if you get some comments or hints over here, but nothing is present. And we do get this particular IIS page over here, that's it. So we do not have anything. We can run GoBurst over here as well. So for now there is nothing present over here. So what we'll try to do is, nothing interesting present as of now or something. Probably it will be useful later, but we can just check. We can check out the GoBuster scans as well, but quickly we'll just go on other things. So we have port 445 over here. What we'll try to do is, okay, let's just complete this port 80 actually. So AutoRecon does run GoBuster over here, and if you look at GoBuster, it's just this ASP client, that's it. Only this thing is present, and if you take this, probably, and do a search against it, it says access is denied. So in short, it's redirecting you, I guess, and that page you don't have access for it. So I did run a small txt for using GoBuster. If you guys don't know what GoBuster is, and directory enumeration and fuzzing tool or files, not only directories, but I could not find anything for small txt and medium txt, I guess. So that was a scan with the extensions. I did not find anything, so I think there's nothing present now. So let's just leave this aside, and what we'll try to do is look at port 445. Also 445 does not have anything. You can check for anonymous access, but it does not have anonymous access over here. So what we can do is, we can obviously do an SMB map list, SMB client list shares, as well as a SMB map, and try to log in as a guest or something, but does not work over here. The errors come, the authentication errors over here does not mean that you don't manually check it as well. So make sure you do that, but I'm aware that this thing does not work over here. I have tried it, so you guys can go and try it as well, just to see if you get anything, but there's no access over there. No shares. Yeah. So we have port 1521 over here, so let's just look at that. So obviously we do have the service over here present. So another thing you can do is search exploit against it, like Oracle TNS. Okay, my bad. And we see over here we do get few versions present over here which have like few exploits or something. We have multiple DOS exploits. You don't want to do a DOS attack. You don't want to deny the service, denial of service attack. You don't want to do that on the target machine. Probably you need something like a remote RC or some file upload, file execution or something like that. But that's not present over here. You can go on Google as well and try to check out for Oracle TNS listener exploit, that is this entire thing. So you can do that, and you can check out for exploits, and obviously we can avoid the write-ups and everything for this particular box, because that's not how you're going to learn. Okay, so we have this Oracle database server. Okay, we have this thing present over. We do get a GitHub page as well which says ODAT, Oracle database attacking. So obviously we do get few things over. You can try to go through it and see if you get something. Remote listener memory corruption. Obviously the first time you don't know anything about the box, you'll probably try to check out for multiple things, see if there is some version which is vulnerable. So obviously after a long time, I was trying to search for exploit, RC, and all these things using this Oracle TNS. So what I came across is this particular page, and when I first did the box, it was like it showed me for a TNS poison attack or something. So I was trying to enumerate more on that. So then I came across this GitHub page over here, and this is that open source hacking tool, and you can try. Okay, basically test the security of Oracle databases remotely. This is what we are doing, right? Remotely. The target machine is silo, and we are having a remote port open. This port is open, right? And it says unauthorized as well, so I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, we can check out. And it says tested on Oracle database 10G, 11G. So I think we are on 11 version, so it's good to go. And you can get this particular file. So what I'll try to do is, let's just copy this thing over here and go to our exploit directory and try to do a git clone over here, so that we can clone that entire directory or that directory over here into our attack machine. So we do that, and then we go to the ODAT directory over here, and we do see that there are multiple files present. Okay, so the important file is, if you check out the usage over here, it will show you to run a odat.py file. So let's just look at that. Okay, so it says about the installation, like how you have to get it. You can actually install it properly, or you can just get this GitHub file and try to run it. as well. Yeah, so you can do multiple things over here. Also, you'll have to probably try and install. Okay, so this is how you run ODAT over here, ODAT.py and H. I think this H is for the help switch. So you can do that. Obviously, there are instructions if you want to properly install it, but I think this works as well. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try and run ODAT, and for that, okay, we need to run ODAT.py. So we'll just locate ODAT.py. It's over here, I guess. Okay, not here. Grep ODAT.py. So we do have this file over here. Execute permission is already present. So let's just try to run it, and we can probably use Python 3, I guess, directly instead of running with this thing. So let's just do that and give the edge switch. Sorry. So we do that, and it may take some time to run. And just one more thing over here, in order to run this particular file successfully, this ODAT.py, I had to install this import cx Oracle. Sorry, over here. This is how I had to install it, and make sure you guys install it as well. Otherwise, it will give you an error that cx not found or something like that. So make sure you do that, and you can probably check it if this is properly installed using this. Okay. So we see that we have multiple things present over here, and earlier I was using this TNS command, TNS poison, trying to check for a poison attack or something. I thought that there was some script running which was trying to have connection, something like that, between in the target machine itself, like some automated script. But I don't think that was the case, and so yeah, so I moved on and I could not find anything over there. So if you see this help version, you get multiple things present over here. What if you just try to run ODAT.py file, it says that the server address must be given. So obviously, if I'm first time I'm using this tool, I would not know like what are these things present over here. Obviously, it says like Java to execute system commands. So obviously, this thing is like interesting, right? You can execute system commands over here, but obviously, this Java is firstly not present in this box. We can look into it more into it later, but Java is not present, and also we have another few commands or modules which is like dbms scheduler or something to execute commands. So let's just look into it. Obviously, first let's just try and add the IP address over here. So let's just give that is 10.10.10.82. That's the target machine's IP address. So do that, and it says over here that there are invalid choice. You have to choose like from multiple things present over here. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to upload or execute files. Okay, so we can download, upload, delete files as well. You can use this Java function as well, but that does not work because Java is not really present in the box. So let's just avoid that. What we'll try to do is we can use this UTF command for now. Just look into it and see what all information we require additionally. So what we'll try to do is ODAT.py s. Okay, I think we'll have to give the module after ODAT.py. So let's just do that. UTL file. So I just gave one module out of these. You can try for all the modules, but over here it says the server SID must be present with the DSID option. Now I do not know what the SID is, but fortunately there's a module named SID guesser to know valid SIDs. So what we'll try to do is, instead of this UTL file, sorry, I'll just enter SID guesser. So let's just do that, and it says searching for valid SIDs and so on. So the scan itself takes some time to execute, and we see that obviously there was like some around 8 minutes or something it took to in order to complete the scan. So in the end we did see that SIDs found. SIDs are nothing but service IDs for the databases which are present. So we do have XC and XCXDB present over here, which we do get over here by this SID guesser tool. And SID guesser, I think it was using a dictionary attack or something to actually guess the SIDs. And we do see we have two SIDs present. So what we'll try to do is let's just do copy and try to paste it over here. So we do have valid SIDs, so probably we can just enter over here valid SIDs. So we can enter XZ and as well as this thing over here, XCXDB. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to run this UTL file module again now, And now we can give, like earlier it said, right, you have to give this D switch with the SID. So let's just try to do that now and see if this thing works. So we do D and we give the SID, that is XC. So you can give either of them and both will work fine, I guess, but let's just try with XC. And it says you need to have a valid account over here, which says you username option and the password option. So now I do not have a valid credentials. Obviously you can check out for other things if you have a valid credential, or you can check out for a module over here, which is something like password guesser. So it says, to know valid credentials, you can use this password guesser module. So let's just try that now. So earlier we did give SID guesser, right? So let's just do password guesser now, and probably this may take some time as well. So probably I'll just pause the video if this completes. So let's just see password guesser. And obviously we have to enter the SID as well in password guesser. So let's just give password guesser module. We'll be giving D SID, which we did find earlier, that is XE. You can use the other one as well. It works the same. Like obviously it's different, but I did try XEX as well. So but that works as well. So let's just do that. It takes some time to execute, I guess. So probably just pause the video and then probably I'll resume a bit later. So the scan is now complete, and we do see that we did get a credential over here for XCSID, that is Scott Tiger, and this was done because obviously it has some list over here. It's running a dictionary attack with a list, which is like the username and probably the password, that is Tiger. So let's just copy this thing over here and add it to our cherry tree. So we can probably add a Scott and Tiger. So what we can do now is we'll just go back to the UTF file option. We did give D switch, right, and it was asking for a U and the P switch. So we'll be giving the U switch for username, that is Scott, and the Tiger, because the slash is the Tiger, right, because obviously this is the first username and Tiger. So that's what it is, and we'll be giving the P switch over here for Tiger. And let's just run this and see. And it says that an operation on this module must be chosen thanks to one of these options. So probably I want to have a put file command over here. So let's just try to do that. And before adding the put file command, what I'll try to do is I'll just try and go back, or probably just enter over here. Wait. Okay, so go back. And over here I'll just try to create a new file. So probably I'll just enter something like echo mutated nuts text or something like that, and I'll just just random file, there's nothing present over here, and probably I can enter something like test.txt. That's it. And just probably copy pwd. We'll probably need this later. So okay, so what we can do is we can just do a get file now. Oh sorry, put file, my bad. So we can use the put file switch. So let's just do that, put file. And it says that it expects like 3 arguments present over here. So input file, you have to add a remote path, remote file, and local file. So in short, if you see, it's like remote path is obviously there are multiple places you can add it. You can add it to the directory where the web server is running, which would most likely be like a default directory, that is C, inet pub, and www root. Okay, so that would be the default directory, or you can add it to a public directory. The use is public, but at times that thing is not writable as well. So, or you can add it to the TMP directory in Windows. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to give the path over there. So first thing is we can just try for inet pub, and we can see inet pub over here and www root. So this is the thing I'm just guessing, okay, because we have a web server running on port 80, right, which we did see earlier. So this web server, so I'm just guessing that probably this is the first thing, what you would try, because that is the default directory, and most likely in all the boxes we have seen that default directory was the same, but obviously it's like most likely, and not all the boxes, but some boxes had like different web application on different directories. But I just thought that this directory would be present, so let's try it. So we have put file over here, inetpub www root, and over here it says remote file. So in short, we just need to give the file what we want to save it as. So we can just save it as test windows probably. So just test win txt, just to differentiate between this remote file and local file. And the local file would be this test.txt, but I think I have to enter the entire path over here. Okay, and that file has to be present in that ODAT directory. So what we'll try to do is, let's just copy this thing and paste it, because my test.txt is in the exploit directory. I created in the exploit directory. So let's just do that. Hit enter. It says it's expecting 3 arguments again. So I did already enter 3 arguments, but for some reason it's expecting more. So what we'll try to do is, we'll just remove this backslash over here and add a forward slash and see if it works. So I think it did work, but the thing is that the reason, obviously you're entering or something in Windows, right? So obviously you'll be giving the backward slashes, but this particular tool is maybe translating the forward slash to backward slash, so that's why it was not recognizing the path properly. So just enter this forward slashes over here, and also it says impossible to put this in directory, insufficient privileges. So you can try and check out for more things present in that ODAT.py, and you can see what kind of privileges you can get, and you can see your privileges as well if you have any. So there are multiple things present over here. You can see what all things you can do. You can try and read through it and see what all is useful. So another thing what we can actually do is, we can just try and run that UTL file. Okay, so just the UTL file. So let's just do that. Python 3 ODAT.py UTL file, and I'll just give the edge switch over here. So if I do that and I hit enter, we see that we get some interesting commands over here, which says obviously you can enter like the port default was 1521. You could have changed that as well, but the default over here is same. So let's just move on and see that obviously we have to enter the user password, and also we can add a sysdba. So let's just try running this entire thing with this sysdba switch and see if we can actually write the file. So sysdba is like nothing but it's somewhat like a sudo command for root, like how we give sudo and who am I, and you can run commands as root, right? So this is probably the same thing, run it as system database administrator. So let's see if that works, and if that works, obviously we can probably write that file maybe. So let's just go back to our utl file command, and we can just do we can probably just give the sysdba switch over here and see if it works. And it says, we got a plus sign over here, and it says a file was created in this particular directory. That means this directory does exist, and obviously we did see it earlier as well, but the file did not write, sorry, we could not write a file over there. So we do have this thing present over here, test.txt. What we can do is, we can quickly go and check out that Oracle page over here, sorry, the web's page over here, and we can check for test.win.txt, and we do see that mutated nuts text file is present over here. Okay, so the one which we created over here, and we could place it into our directory over here. So now there are two parts where we can actually exploit this box. Okay, so this was how we got access to write the particular file in the in the target machine. So there are two ways where you can exploit it. So one is like a simpler method, and the other one is a bit complex, not very complex, but it is a bit complex. So what we'll try to do is, we have this particular ODAT.py. Okay, we do have multiple. Okay, we can write this particular thing. What we can do next is, first thing, you can try and add a reverse shell over there. Okay, sorry. So if you add a reverse shell, so probably we can try and execute command using maybe some other ODAT module. Okay, so what we'll try to do is, we'll just try to create a reverse shell first. So we'll just do msfvenom over here, and we'll be giving the p switch for payload. So now I do not know the architecture of the machine. Okay, you can probably check over here, and you'll just get OS guesses and nothing else. You obviously would not get the architecture what it was running on or something. Yeah, so what we'll try to do is, we'll just try and create a normal Windows. Okay, and that is shell reverse TCP payload. So this is by default the x86 payload, that is your 32-bit payload. So we'll just try that for now. If that does not work, probably we can try some other payload. So we give the P switch and we give the Windows payload. So obviously msfvenom, if you do a list over here, you'll get multiple payloads present. So we'll be using this shell reverse TCP, and what we can do next is we can give the help host, that is your listening host, that is our attack machine, that is 10.14.28. This is my attack machine's IP address. I'll be giving the L port over here, that is 4444, because we are not listening on 4444. It's open and free. Sorry, it's not open yet, but it's free, so we can use that. And also the F switch for the the file type. So we'll probably give an executable file over here. And also we can give the O switch for output. So we can just enter something like reverse.exe. So we'll do that, hit enter, and it may take some time to generate that msfvenom payload. So let's just wait for that, and then probably we can try to write. So in the meantime, we can just go and do Python 3 ODAT.py, and we can do H again. And we need to somehow upload a particular file, right? You can probably use, sorry, not upload, my bad. You have to execute a file. So probably we can check for multiple things. Obviously, we could have used Java over here to execute system command, but Java is not present. Also, multiple things do not work. So you can you can actually check and try for multiple things, but for few things only worked over here. So there's another thing which says external table present over here. It says to read files or to execute system commands. You can obviously, try to go the easy way and try to read the flags maybe. If you guess the usernames of the directories, you can do that, or you can execute system commands and script. So let's just use this external table over here. So what we'll try to do is, let's just have this thing. Okay, before that we need to obviously transfer our file, that is msfvenom payload, into the target machine over here. Probably you can do that, or you can probably just write you can do that, because I just don't want that payload to be executed by the by this web application, because then we would get the shell as that particular user. So let's just try to do this. As I said, there are two ways to exploit this box. So let's just do that, msfvenom payload. So I'll just modify a few things over here in the exploit, because we have created exploit, that is reverse exe over here. So I want to change it to reverse exe.exe, and over here as well test win. So I can change that to win reverse, something like that. Okay, so let's just see if this works. So let's just hit enter. So it did work, and it says file created on this server, something when reverse txt. Okay, my bad, I entered reverse txt over here. So just enter when reverse exe, my bad. So that is done. Over here we do have the exe files. So obviously there are at times you make mistakes that you have the txt file. Okay, so we do have this exe file placed over here, and what we can do now is we can probably use that Python 3, and we can check for that external table command. So let's just use that external table, I guess. Yeah, external table. We can do that, and also we actually need these parameters over here. So I'll just copy from the previous command, and let's just try and hit enter and see if it will ask us for additional parameters. So we do that. It says test module get file and exec. So I want exec. Exec is probably like execution. So I want that reverse.exe file, which I did place it over there, right, in this particular folder. I want that to be executed. So obviously first, before that, I'll just try to create a netcat listener on port 4444. I'll just do that just to be safe, and I'll just enter exec, sorry, and it says expected 2 arguments. So obviously it's like, okay, we can check over here. So it says remote path and file. Okay, so what we'll try to do is remote path is like this thing, and the file name. So give space and enter the file name, that is win reverse and exe. because this was the file which we did upload, right? Like half part over here is on the next line, but yeah, this is that win reverse exe. So let's just hit enter and see if we get any error or something. Let's go step by step. I obviously did not know all these commands as well. Just try to, it gave us a hint over here. It says expected 2 arguments, and once we look over here, we get like you have to enter 2 arguments, right? That is remote path and file. So let's just hit enter, and it says error insufficient privilege, obviously because we have to give that sysdba switch as well. So same thing over here for external table, you can do that edge switch and check it out, but it's the same thing. So let's just do that. It says execute win reverse, and we see over here that we do have a shell, and if we just do who am I, we are already a system. Why system is because this particular TNS, why did we get a system shell is because this particular thing, TNS listener, is actually running as system. Okay, so it is not running like as administrator, it's running as system. So it's obviously it means full privilege, but system is like OS account. It's not for somebody to actually log in with a valid credential like administrators. So this is running as system. That's why since we executed this file as from using this TNS, right, Oracle TNS, so we executed it using this particular thing, using ODAT obviously, but since this was running as system and this particular application did execute that reverse exe file, it will give us a system shell. So we do get our shell, we can just go back to users, and okay, we have a user over here, so let's just go here, my bad, LSLA, go back, go to desktop, to dir. We do have a user txt file over here. You can very well read it. Obviously we do have some Oracle issued txt file as well, which we'll look in the exploitation part 2. And what we'll try to do is we'll just go back, and obviously we can get the administrator flag as well. So we can get the root txt flag as well. Okay, so what we'll try to do is, since we did already execute it as root, this was like the easy way to do it and get root, and you get both the flags since you are already system. So what we'll try to do is we'll look at another way, because the thing is, it's not only about getting root. The main thing is how many ways you can attack the box, and that many tricks you have in your pocket, right? So another thing is, since we could write a file over here, right? The main reason I did take this inet www because in the second part we can actually write some aspx file or php file. Probably first we have to check what this web server is running. So let's just do that over here. Reload this particular page. It's so let's just go over here and do inspect element, and we can check for network. We can reload this page again, the same 82 page, 10 10 10 82, and we can look over here. So PHP, if there's a PHP page, most likely there'll be like a PHP session ID or something. It's no hard and fast rule, but most likely it would be that. And if it's a ASPX page, okay, if it's running ASPX, so probably there is ASP.NET present over here. So it shows X powered by. Most of the cases at times it does not show as well, but in our case obviously we did see ASP.NET present over here, so we do know that we have to create an AXPX file. So what we'll try to do is, we have this msfvenom payload right over here. So let's just try with 32-bit, but over here instead of the exe file we have to give a AXPX file over here. And also in reverse exe we can just enter reverse and ASPX, and let's just hit enter. It may take some time to execute, so let's just prepare our file for uploading, right? So using the utlf command. So let's just do that, and we can get utl file, yeah. And instead of reverse exe we need to enter aspx, as well as over here in when reverse exe we can probably just enter when reverse and AXPX, or you can keep the same file name as well, so it does not matter. So we do that, and our reverse ASPX file is ready over here. So let's just do this, upload this particular file, and it says it's already uploaded. So what we'll try to do is we'll set up a netcat listener over here on port 4444 because that's the same one which we have given on the payload, right? So let's just go over here and try to call up our winreverse.aspx file. Let's just do that, and we do get a blank page over here. So probably like our reverse cxe worked, but it did not work. So in short, that did not work. Obviously that does not mean you do not try next thing is obviously you try a 64-bit payload. So for 64-bit you can just enter x64 over here and create a reverse cxe payload. You can probably mention something like 64 over here so that you understand that it's 64. So do that and keep this file ready as well, and we just need to create this 64 aspx. We need to upload this particular file and we need to rename that winreverse aspx. You can leave it as it is, or you can just enter winreverse and 64-bit over here, so like 64. Just for naming conventions you can name whatever you want, but obviously this name has to be the same as whatever file we created. This thing you can name whatever you want, and obviously this directory has to be this particular directory. So we do have winreverse cxpx. So let's just start a netcat listener again over here on port NC. Okay, if you guys don't know what netcat is a connection tool which you can get a connection from the target machine, and you can have a connection going. You can get a shell over here. So netcat is used for connection between the target and attack machine. In this particular case, it can be used for multiple things, and to connect to HTTP applications or something like that. So I'll be using netcat over here. N switches for numeric IPs only. V is for verbose, more verbose output. L is for listening mode, since we are listening, and we'll run something on the web server over here, and then probably we'll get a shell, and the P for the port number, that is 4444. So this netcat listener is running over here. So what we'll try to do is let's just keep this, and obviously we have to upload this reverse 64 file. So let's just do that first. Hit enter, and the file is already transferred. So let's just go over here, and when reverse we have to enter the 64-bit. 64-bit as in does not matter over here, because as in not the bit but the file name whatever we entered. So obviously we have to give the correct file name what we did enter over here, and we do see that we get a shell over here now. So obviously that does not mean you stop at 32-bit, you check other payloads, you try multiple things till you find and get a shell or something like that. So we do see that we are as IS app pool default pool user. So let's just go back over here. My bad. So let's just go to users again, and let's just go to this particular user over here, and we obviously have access for this. So obviously we can go and get the user txt flag. So we can very well read the user txt file. Another thing, once you come in the box, first time you obviously check for system info, and obviously it will display like OS information and all these kind of things present over there. So we do have system information present over here, and we see that the actual OS was actually 64-bit. So that's why that 32-bit did not work. So this is 64-bit, and it did work over here. And also we have the host name. We have multiple patches over here. So I don't think you can use kernel exploit. I don't think you should use it as well, because there's no like proper actual learning over there. Obviously you get to learn what that exploit is about, but you have to just run that exe file. So obviously another thing you can check is you can do an who am I all over here and check out for privileges. And if you see over here, we see SE impersonate privilege, that is enabled. So you can probably use something like your juicy potato, rotten potato over here, and try to exploit it. Okay, so moving on, in our particular file where we did land, it says Oracle issue txt. So let's just do a type over here because we are Windows. So let's just do Oracle issue txt. We do that, it says like there's some memory dump present which was requested, and there's some link present over here which would require a password, and there's a Dropbox link present over here. So you can take this link and try to get something. So what we can do is let's just do this copy selection. So this is any which way out of domain, but since it was present over here, obviously you can have a look. Don't try to attack anything probably in like outside the domain. don't try and enumerate this thing and all. It's just asking for a password. Probably there's some file present. Dropbox is like, file sharing kind of thing. So maybe some file is present over here. So what we'll try to do is we can try and copy this link password over here, which is like, don't think the characters are a bit funny over here. So let's just do that. And it says incorrect password. The reason for this is because this is not formatted properly. You can take this file over here and what do you say, try to check out what it is about. But the easiest thing what we can do is we can try to copy this Oracle issue txt file as, okay, so let's just copy this particular file and we'll copy it to inetpub www root and just enter pass and txt. So let's just do that, because whatever contents are present over here will get copied. Obviously this file would get copied in this particular file over here, pass txt. So let's just do that. The system cannot find the file specified. I'm not sure. Okay, my bad. I had to enter codes over here. So copy. Okay, so we do have access denied present over here. So for some reason we cannot probably try and copy those files present over there. So I think that requires system or administrator permissions. So what we'll try to do is, since we cannot access it over here, right? What we'll try to do is we'll just try and set up a SMB web server, sorry, not web server, SMB server over here, because we do have, okay, so because we need to get this file into our machine and probably we can check for it. So what we can do is we can just do, before that we'll just do pwd over here, get the working directory, then we'll do sudo and impacket SMB server, because that's the impacket tool which we are going to use. And remember, for Windows machine, impacket is your friend. Okay, so we have impacket SMB server over here. We'll be giving the shared directory name. You can enter anything, so probably I'll just enter muted and nuts, and I'll be giving the paths. Sorry, so that's the path which okay, I'll just create a SMB directory over here. Let's go back, create a SMB directory, make directory SMB, cd SMB. Okay, so I'll create that SMB directory. Okay, it will ask for your Kali password, because obviously I'm running the box as root. Sorry, not root. We'll just do that. It may take some time, and obviously this thing has started over here. So what we can do is we can copy it, this particular file, and we can transfer it to our SMB directory over here, but we need to give the network drive access. So like network drive path, that is 10.10.14.28. This is my attack machine's IP address, because I have started a SMB server over here. So that's a network drive. I've started it over here, and also I'll be giving muted and nuts over here, and probably just enter pass.txt, because I want to save it as pass.txt. So let's just do that. We do get something over here and it says authenticated successfully. It says one file copied over here. So if we just do cat on the pass.txt, we do get that same thing present over here. But a quick way to overcome that is you can probably just go over here and you can check out for this pass.txt, not by this mousepad or something. So let's just do an open with Firefox, and over here we do see that we get the exact password and a proper password over here in Firefox, because there's some format with the characters, I guess, so that's why it was not displaying correctly. And this is that particular sign over here which we require. So if we copy this thing into that Dropbox, if we do continue, so we see that we do get access to this zip file over here which says memory dump. Okay, so there's one file itself, and I did already download this particular file, so I'm not going to do that again. So we do have this zip file present over here. We can just open this and extract this particular DMP file. It may take some time, I guess, so let's just wait. So let's just close this. I don't think we require this SMB server to be running, so let's just close this and let's just leave our shell as it is. I don't think we require the shell as well, because we'll just look into this. Okay, so I think the file is extracted now, and this is the particular file over here. Okay, we do require the shell actually for few things, so let's just close this thing. We can close this as well. I don't think we require that. Okay, so what we'll try to do is we'll try to analyze this memory dump. So in order to analyze that particular file, the DMP file, we'll be using a tool called volatility and volatile memory. In order to analyze the memory dump that is volatile in nature, we'll be using that tool. So it's not present in this 2020 version 3, at least, sorry, 2020.3 of Kali. It's not present by default. You have to go and install it. So you can go on Google and check for how to install volatility tool. And let's just try to run this. So this is used for memory forensics, like if you want to see what is present inside the memory, what kind of things were present, any data or something like that, any malware or something. So I think multiple things you can check over there. So it says H, okay, so let's just give H and see what all things we can run. So there are multiple things which we can run over here, and like there are multiple modules, and over here in the first place it says that you need to obviously can go and check for multiple things. Over here it says file name, the file name you want to analyze, and you have to even mention the profile over here. So profile is like WinXP something something. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try and remove the profile to you. Okay, so let's just try to do info and see if we get something additional, because we need to load the particular profile for this particular thing box over here. Let's just do system info over here, and we did see the OS, but let's just look into it once again. So we do have a Windows server over here that is 2012 R2 standard, and over here I don't think we got anything. Okay, we did get this list over here, and we need to find for Windows 2012 R2 x64. So I think this is good to go, I guess, because Windows R2 x64 standard. I don't see a challenge. Over here the build number is mentioned as well, that is 183409600. Let's just look into the build over here. It says 9600. Okay, I'm not sure. Probably we can check for this. We can use this build 18340. Okay, this is 9600. Let's just try going with this particular build because it looks a bit close over here. So let's just try to use this. So probably we can use this as well. So earlier it did mention that you have to give the file name, right? So probably we can enter that file name over here, and then the profile, that is this particular thing. So let's just paste that first, and the file name. Obviously let's just get this file name from here. Says requested file does not exist. Okay, let's just look into it. So I think, okay, we had to give a F switch, that's it. Okay, so now it says you must do something, you must specify something to do. So obviously if we just look at volatility over here, and let's just do this thing with edge switch, we see that there are multiple modules, as we saw in that TNS listener as well, right? There are multiple modules which we can look. You can obviously check for each and every module, but obviously we would need some interesting module that would probably have like a password hash or something like that, right? So what we can do is we can just look for it and see if you get something with password hash. Also there's a thing called hive list over here which prints list of registry hives, so you can do that and see if you get something interesting. So let's just try to do that first and use hive list. Obviously there is something, it's actually analyzing and trying to load up something, I guess. So it says nothing over here. So probably there is nothing present over here. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to do a hash dump as well. There's a thing called hash dump over here. So let's just try to do that as well and see if we get something. If not, then probably we'll just try to change our profile and see if there is something different for the other profile over there. Because we did select for this particular profile itself, right? The entire thing. So let's just try for this as well and see. It says unable to read hashes from registry. So what we'll try to do is we'll just remove this profile because we did see, obviously we were a bit confused, like I was a bit confused on the profile. So let's just look into this. And if we look over here, we do get few hashes present over here. That is this particular user, guest, and administrator over here. So it looks like we do have a hash, but let's just see if this hash is actually valid. What we can do is we can just copy this thing. Obviously, we can add it over here as well. Administrator hash, but we are not sure that if this hash actually belongs to this particular box itself, because this was a memory dump. Obviously it looks like it's from the same machine itself, target machine, because that was the OS which we saw, right? But it can be like an old dump or something like that, and administrator changed his password or something, right? And this is an NTLM hash, because see, if you see the first part over here of the hash is like the same, it's not different for the user, whereas the second part is different. So this is an NTLM hash. So what we can do is we can use multiple ways, and we did see that port 445 is open, right? SMB port over here. So we can try and do a PS exec, or we can even try and do something different, that is 5985 WS this man. So that is like your Windows remote management port. So we can use evil WinRAM for that. So before that, I think I'll just try PS exec, because mostly you guys will have this particular tool. So let's just do PS exec. Let's just look at the usage. It will probably display the usage over here. And for the hash, I think we can just enter this thing or just the second part over here. Okay, so PSExec. So we need to give the usage over here. That is your domain. So we can just mention the host name, that is silo, and administrator user. And the password, you don't have to enter the password because we do not know. We just have the hash. We'll be doing a pass the hash attack. So we'll be doing that. So ED2, and we have to give hashes. That is over here. So we have to give it in this LM hash and NT hash. So both together. So copy it. Hashes. Let's just do that. My bad. Okay, I just gave a and if we see over here, it says writing, getting share, and most likely we'll get a system shell out of it. So obviously we are a system now. So obviously we were in add system in the first place itself, but this was just a different way of showing, like, you can try and create a file in that, web root directory, www root directory, and based on that you get access, you get that memory, you can try for that hash dump or something and get some additional hashes or something like that. So another thing what we can do is we can even use evil WinRAM. So this thing you have to actually download it. It's not present by default in Kali Linux, I guess. So I had to download it. So you can use this, and it's going to be very useful for multiple boxes with Windows remote management port open. Especially the recent boxes on HackTheBoxes, like, there are like, I think there were like I think Netman also used that port, which was recent. So yeah. So we do have evil WinRAM over here. We can give the ICE switch for IP, that is 1082. We can give the user, that is the administrator, and we can give the hash, that is H, and okay. So that's it. Let's see if we get something. It says invalid hash format, so it requires hash only, I guess, the second part. Let's just do that. It says establishing connection to remote endpoint. It'll take some time, I guess. See over here, we are over here in documents directory. We are over here as administrator. Earlier in PSXX we were as system, right? So this is how we got access to administrator. Obviously you can go and check out for the root flag as well. And another thing, since we were checking that volatility tool, so we can also check for, there's another okay, let's just look at the modules again. And there's another one which says LSA dump, I guess, so which looks into plain text credentials present inside, like the default credentials like AutoRecon credentials or something. We check like I usually check in, using this fuzzy security, like any creds are present in the registry or no for default auto login or something like that. So you can probably do that as well and check out for something interesting. So we have this LSA dump decrypted LSA secrets from registry. So let's just do that and see. So over here we say, it says that default password is present and it says do not hack me bro. So let's just try to copy this and you can go to the exploit directory and just add password txt probably, and we can just try to, okay, I'll have to set this default as mousepad. Paste this thing, try to just remove this extra data what is present over here. And another thing is, obviously you don't require, you can try adding the dots as well and try to check the password, but that's not the case because that does not work. So what we'll try to do is quickly we'll just try to replace something. I think we can do find and replace and search for dot and replace it with blank. That's it, nothing else over here, and replace everything over here. So there are like 14 dots probably. So do that, replace all. Okay, so you can do this. Obviously you can use command line as well to do things in a better way, but I thought ease of use, like just try to do it from here faster. Okay, so we have administrator over here. We can give the password as well using the P, I guess, and paste this thing. It says establishing connection, and we obviously have access to administrator again. So same thing over here, we can do the same thing with PSXX as well. Why? Okay, exit. Okay, so we'll do the same thing with PSXX. I'll remove the hashes and try to run this thing and try to paste the password once it will ask for it. Do that. And it says requesting share, that means the authentication was successful. So this was the box. Like there were two ways to do it. Another way, you can probably try full manual way, try to install SQL plus, Oracle SQL plus, I guess, on your machine. Try to actually write the manual database commands. You can check out aspx video on that. And this was a box, like you can do the easiest way as well, like just directly get root, right? Upload a file, execute that file and get root, or you can probably try to upload it, go to that web directory over there, you can upload it, get a shell as the web user and analyze the hash dump, not hash dump, the memory dump, and get few credentials hashes over there, like the password hashes over there, and you can try to use it with PSXX or evil WinRAM because the Windows remote management port was open. Okay, so this was the box. If you guys liked it, do give a thumbs up and do subscribe for more upcoming videos. If you all have any queries, do ask in the comments below. Thank you.